Marcus's hand slammed against the apartment wall so hard that the picture frame shattered. "You think you're smarter than me?" he roared. Naomi Jackson stumbled backward, one trembling hand protecting her face, while the other clutched the grocery bag she had just carried inside. Oranges rolled across the floor. A bottle of milk burst open. Before she could speak, Marcus grabbed her by the arm so violently that she cried out, "I told you not to smile at another man." "I wasn't smiling at anyone," Naomi whispered, tears filling her eyes. "Please, Lily will hear you." Marcus leaned closer until his breath touched her face. "Then maybe she'll learn what happens when people lie." A loud knock suddenly echoed through the apartment building's hallway. Marcus released her wrist. Both of them froze. Another knock followed, louder this time. Naomi's heart pounded inside her chest. She prayed it wasn't another neighbor pretending not to hear the screaming. Marcus opened the door halfway, but nobody stood outside. Only a small black envelope rested on the welcome mat. He frowned before picking it up. Inside was a single white card. 3 words, "I know everything." Marcus looked around the empty hallway, suddenly uneasy. The story shifts to the following morning. Sunlight poured through the massive windows of the Kang estate, one of the most heavily guarded mansions on the outskirts of Los Angeles. Every employee knew the rules: silence, discipline, perfection. Naomi adjusted a vase of fresh white lilies with shaking hands, desperately hoping no one would notice the dark bruise beneath the makeup covering her cheek. She had almost finished when footsteps echoed from the marble staircase. Every servant immediately straightened. Hyun Kang descended without saying a word. At just 34 years old, the Korean Mafia boss had built an empire that reached far beyond legitimate businesses. His name alone made politicians nervous, businessmen cautious, and criminals disappear. Yet this morning, something about his expression felt colder than usual. His sharp eyes swept across the room before stopping on Naomi. She lowered her head. "Good morning, sir," she whispered. No answer came. Instead, Hyun slowly walked toward her. She tried to continue arranging the flowers, but her trembling fingers betrayed her. A white lily slipped from her hand. It hit the marble floor. The sound echoed through the silent hall. Hyun stopped directly in front of her. "Look at me!" His calm voice somehow felt more terrifying than shouting. Naomi hesitated. "I said..." His eyes narrowed. "Look at me." She slowly raised her face. For a brief second, nobody breathed. The expensive makeup failed to hide the deep purple bruise spreading across her cheek. Her lower lip was swollen. There were faint finger marks disappearing beneath the collar of her uniform. Hyun's jaw tightened. "What happened?" I slipped yesterday." He didn't blink. "You fell." "Yes." "And the fingers around your neck?" Naomi couldn't answer. "Also came from falling?" A tear escaped despite her efforts to hide it. Hyun looked toward the other employees. "Leave." Nobody questioned the order. Within seconds, the enormous hall became silent. Naomi immediately wiped her tears. "I'm sorry, sir. I shouldn't have brought my personal problems to work." "You didn't." She looked confused. "You brought bruises." Silence filled the room. Hyun walked toward the window before speaking again. "Who did it?" Naomi shook her head. "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me," her voice cracked. "You don't understand." "Then make me understand." She closed her eyes. "My boyfriend." The words barely escaped her lips. Hyun remained completely still. "His name?" "Marcus." "How long?" She swallowed painfully. "Almost 2 years." "You've been abused for 2 years?" Naomi nodded. "He wasn't like this in the beginning." "They never are." His answer surprised her. "He helped me after my divorce, paid my rent when I couldn't, bought medicine for Lily when she was sick. I thought God had finally answered my prayers." "What changed?" "He changed." Her tears came faster. First it was questions, then accusations, then pushing, then slapping. Now, she touched her bruised face. "This." Hyun didn't interrupt. "My daughter thinks I keep falling down the stairs." "How old is she?" 8. "Does she ever see him hit you?" Naomi quickly shook her head. "No, I always wait until she's asleep." Hyun's expression darkened even more. "So your daughter wakes up believing her mother simply has another accident." Naomi covered her face. "I've tried leaving." "What stopped you?" "He said he'd take Lily." Her voice broke completely. "He knows where her school is. He said if I ever left him, I'd never see my little girl again. Hyun slowly clenched his fists. What made him do this yesterday? Naomi looked away in shame. He found out I received a salary increase. And he accused me of sleeping with you. The room fell deathly silent. He said powerful men don't reward loyal employees. He said, she couldn't finish. Hyun's voice became dangerously calm. He said what? He said the only reason a Korean billionaire would help a black maid was because I must be sharing his bed. Naomi burst into tears. I swear I've never given him a reason to think that. You don't need to defend yourself. He reached for his phone. She looked up immediately. What are you doing? Fixing this? No. She rushed forward. Please don't. If he finds out I told anyone, he'll kill me. Hyun looked directly into her frightened eyes. No. His voice carried absolute certainty. He won't. Naomi stared at him, her breathing uneven. You don't know Marcus, she whispered. When he loses control, he becomes someone else. Hyun slipped his phone back into his pocket. Then tell me everything before I decide what comes next. She hesitated, but the kindness hidden beneath his cold expression gave her the courage she had been searching for. He works nights as a warehouse supervisor on the east side of the city. Everyone thinks he's charming. They don't see what happens after the front door closes. Does he own any weapons? I've seen a handgun. I don't know if it's legal. Has he ever threatened your daughter directly? Naomi nodded, tears returning. Last month he drove past Lily's school 3 times. He wanted me to notice. Then he told me that children disappear every day. Hyun's face hardened. And you still went back? I didn't have a choice. I don't earn enough to disappear. I kept hoping he would change. He won't? His answer came without hesitation. People like Marcus only become more dangerous when they believe fear is working. Hyun pressed a button on his phone. Within seconds, 2 sharply dressed security men entered the room. Neither asked questions. From this moment, Hyun said, one team will remain near Lily's school. Another will watch Naomi's apartment. Marcus must never know they're there unless he makes a mistake. Yes, boss. Naomi's eyes widened. I never asked for this. No, Hyun replied quietly. You asked for nothing. That's the problem. She lowered her head. I don't want to become your burden. He took one step closer. The moment you walked into my house with bruises on your face, you stopped being someone else's problem. A fresh wave of tears rolled down her cheeks. No one had ever said those words to her, not her parents, not her ex-husband, certainly not Marcus. For the first time in years, someone was promising protection instead of demanding silence. Hours later, darkness settled over the city. A black convoy stopped outside an aging apartment complex. Marcus stepped outside carrying a bottle of beer. He frowned when he saw 3 luxury SUVs blocking the entrance. The rear door opened. Hyun stepped out, dressed in a black tailored suit, his expression unreadable. Marcus laughed. You lost, rich boy? No one answered. Hyun continued walking until only a few feet separated them. Marcus looked closer. His smile disappeared. Recognition spread across his face. You? His voice faltered. You're Hyun Kang. Residents quietly pulled back their curtains, sensing trouble. Marcus forced another laugh. This is a misunderstanding. Whatever Naomi said, I haven't asked you a single question. Hyun's calm tone was more frightening than anger. You hit women. Marcus swallowed. You don't understand relationships. You threatened a child. I was only trying to scare her. Hyun took another step. Marcus instinctively stepped back. You left fingerprints on Naomi's neck. I lost my temper. You accused her of betraying you because she earned an honest raise. Marcus looked around desperately, hoping someone would intervene. Nobody moved. Hyun stopped directly in front of him. You have exactly one chance. Marcus remained silent. You will never call Naomi again. No response. You will never follow her. Marcus's hands began shaking. You will never go near Lily. I understand. If either of them sees your face again, Hyun leaned forward just enough for Marcus alone to hear the next words. The police will be the least of your problems. Marcus's confidence completely collapsed. I swear, it's over. Hyun studied him for several seconds. Then he turned away without another word. As the convoy disappeared into the night, Marcus remained frozen on the sidewalk. For the first time in his life, the man who had terrorized everyone around him understood what it felt like to be afraid. 3 hours later, a black SUV pulled quietly into the parking lot outside Naomi's apartment. She had just finished putting Lily to bed when a gentle knock came at the door. Her heart skipped. For one terrifying moment, she thought Marcus had returned. She carefully looked through the peephole. Hyun stood alone. She opened the door immediately. "What happened?" she asked nervously. "Is Lily safe?" "She's safe. And Marcus? He won't be bothering you tonight." Naomi released a shaky breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "Thank you." Hyun stepped inside, his eyes instinctively scanning the apartment. The front door lock was loose. One bedroom window didn't close properly. The hallway outside was poorly lit. Every weakness registered in his mind. "You've been living here with Lily?" Naomi nodded. "It's all I could afford." He remained silent for several seconds. "You can't stay here." She looked down. "I know, but I don't have another option." "You do now." She frowned. "I own several properties across the city. I can't accept charity." "This isn't charity." "Then what is it?" "A housing benefit." She looked confused. "You've worked for me faithfully for 6 months. Consider it part of your employment package." She immediately shook her head. "No, that's too much." Hyun looked directly into her eyes. "If Marcus ignored my warning tonight, he'll eventually ignore this address too." Naomi's face turned pale. "But he doesn't know where." "He knows enough." Silence settled between them. "I'm responsible for everyone who works under my roof," Hyun continued. "That responsibility doesn't end when they clock out." Tears gathered in Naomi's eyes again. "Nobody has ever protected me like this." "Get used to it." Just then, a small, sleepy voice echoed from the hallway. "Mom?" Both adults turned. 8-year-old Lily stood rubbing her eyes while holding her favorite stuffed rabbit. She stared at the tall stranger inside their apartment. Naomi hurried over. "Sweetheart, I'm sorry. Did we wake you?" Lily ignored the question. She walked straight toward Hyun. "You are really tall." For the first time that day, the corners of Hyun's mouth lifted slightly. "So I've been told." Lily tilted her head. "Are you one of Mom's bosses?" "I am." She studied him carefully. "You don't look scary." Naomi almost laughed despite everything. "Really?" Lily nodded confidently. "Scary people don't have kind eyes." Hyun blinked. Very few adults had ever looked beyond his reputation. An 8-year-old girl had done it within seconds. "I'm Lily." "I know. You already know my name?" "Your mother talks about you." Lily smiled proudly. "She talks about me all the time." Naomi covered her face in embarrassment. Lily pointed at Hyun's expensive watch. "Do rich people always wear shiny watches?" "Not always." "Can I touch it?" Naomi gasped. "Lily!" "It's all right." Hyun extended his wrist. Lily gently touched the watch before smiling. "It's pretty." "So are you." She giggled. Naomi watched the exchange in disbelief. The feared Korean Mafia boss everyone described as ruthless was patiently answering the endless questions of an 8-year-old child. For the first time in months, Lily laughed without fear. The following afternoon, Hyun's security team moved Naomi and Lily into a beautiful 3-bedroom townhouse inside a gated community. The house overlooked a quiet lake. Security cameras covered every entrance. Professional guards monitored the neighborhood 24 hours a day. Naomi slowly walked through the living room. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. The kitchen was larger than her entire previous apartment. Lily ran upstairs shouting with excitement. "Mom, I have my own room!" Moments later, she raced back down. "It even has pink curtains." Naomi could no longer hold back her tears. "This is too much." Hyun handed her a small envelope. Inside was a new key card. "The security office has your photograph and Lily's. No visitor enters without your approval." "I don't know how I'll ever repay you." "You already have." She looked puzzled. "How?" "By trusting me enough to tell the truth." That evening, after everyone had left, Hyun remained standing alone on the balcony overlooking the lake. His phone rang. It was Ryan, his cousin and second in command. "I heard you moved your maid into one of the executive properties." "I did." "You confronted her boyfriend too." Yes, Ryan sighed. People are talking. They're free to talk. You've spent money, security personnel, and influence on a personal matter. Hyun's voice became firm. It stopped being personal the moment an innocent child became a target. Ryan remained silent. You built this organization by making logical decisions, he finally said. Don't let emotions become the crack your enemies are waiting for. Hyun looked toward the brightly lit townhouse where Lily's laughter echoed through the evening air. Then he answered quietly, some things are worth protecting, no matter the cost. Ryan realized the conversation was over. He ended the call. Unaware that someone else had been watching from a distance, Hun remained on the balcony. Across the street, inside a parked car with darkened windows, Marcus lowered a pair of binoculars. His bruised pride had become something far more dangerous. Revenge. The next 3 weeks brought a kind of peace Naomi had almost forgotten existed. For the first time in years, she slept through the night without waking to every distant sound. Lily walked to school smiling instead of looking over her shoulder. Every morning, Hyun stopped by before work, sometimes bringing breakfast, sometimes simply asking, how are you both today? One evening, Naomi found him alone in the mansion's study. He stood motionless before an old photograph. The woman in the picture wore a gentle smile that reminded Naomi of someone who had loved deeply despite carrying great pain. You miss her, Naomi said softly. Hyun nodded without turning around. My mother. Naomi waited. When I was 12, my father came home drunk again. I heard them arguing. I wanted to run downstairs, but my mother locked my bedroom door from the outside. His voice remained calm, but every word carried years of buried grief. She wanted to protect me. Naomi felt her chest tighten. I broke the door open too late. Silence filled the room. He beat her for years. Everyone knew. Nobody stopped him because they feared his power. Hyun finally looked at Naomi. The last thing my mother ever said to me was, promise me you'll never become a man people fear more than they trust. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. I built power because I never wanted to be helpless again. But I promised myself something else that night. What was it? If I ever had the strength to protect someone, I would never look away. Naomi slowly stepped closer. You didn't save your mother. No, but you saved Lily and me. For the first time in years, Hyun allowed someone to see the pain he had hidden behind authority and reputation. Naomi gently took his hand. You kept your promise. Neither of them noticed how naturally their hands remained together. Days later, while preparing reports in Hyun's office, Naomi smiled as Lily happily colored pictures nearby. You've been smiling more, Hyun observed. I forgot what happiness felt like. You deserve it. She looked into his eyes. So do you. The room grew quiet. Hyun took a careful step forward. I've spent years believing my life had no room for anyone else. Naomi's heartbeat quickened. But every morning I find myself looking forward to seeing you. She lowered her eyes. I'm afraid. I know. I'm afraid that trusting someone again means giving them the power to hurt me. Hyun gently lifted her chin. Then don't trust my words. She looked at him. Trust my actions. A tear rolled down her cheek. Without another word, she closed the distance between them. Their first kiss was gentle, hesitant, and filled with the promise of healing rather than passion. A loud ringtone shattered the moment. One of Hyun's security officers answered immediately. His expression changed. Boss, what happened? It's Lily. Naomi's face turned white. What about my daughter? There was an attempted abduction outside her school. Naomi nearly collapsed. Hyun caught her before she fell. Is she safe? He demanded. Yes. Our team intercepted 3 suspects before they reached her. Hyun's eyes turned cold. Marcus? He's one of them. Within minutes, they arrived at the school. Lily ran into Naomi's arms, crying, I was so scared, Mommy. Naomi held her tightly. It's over, sweetheart. Nearby, Marcus knelt on the pavement in handcuffs, surrounded by police officers. The moment he saw Hyun, hatred filled his eyes. This is your fault. Hyun walked toward him. You chose this. You stole everything from me. You lost everything the day you decided hurting women made you powerful. Marcus struggled against the officers. I'll kill. Before he could finish, the police pushed him into the patrol car. Naomi grabbed Hyun's arm. Please. He looked at her. Promise me something. What? Let the law punish him. Hyun remained silent. I don't want Lily growing up believing revenge is justice. He looked toward the frightened little girl standing beside her. After a long pause, he nodded. I promise. The investigation uncovered years of violence, stalking, threats, and the attempted kidnapping. Witnesses finally found the courage to speak. Marcus was convicted on multiple charges and sentenced to 8 years in prison. As he was led from the courtroom, he looked back one final time. Naomi didn't lower her eyes. She no longer lived in fear. 6 months later, life looked completely different. Naomi had left domestic work behind and now managed one of Hyun's legitimate companies. Her business degree, once forgotten beneath years of survival, finally had the chance to shine. Even Hyun's senior executives admitted she was exceptional. Lily thrived in school, proudly earning her yellow belt in Taekwondo. She insisted on demonstrating every new move to Hyun, who applauded each one with genuine pride. One sunny afternoon, the three of them visited a quiet park overlooking the ocean. Lily chased butterflies across the grass while laughing louder than either adult had ever heard before. Hyun reached into his jacket. Naomi noticed the small velvet box. Her eyes widened. He slowly knelt. I spent years building an empire because I thought power was enough. His voice softened. Then you and Lily taught me something I never understood. Naomi's tears began to fall. You made this house feel like a home. He opened the box. Inside rested a simple, elegant diamond ring. Naomi Jackson, will you marry me and let me spend the rest of my life protecting the family that gave mine a new beginning? She covered her mouth, unable to speak for several seconds. Finally, she nodded. Yes. Then she laughed through her tears. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Hyun slipped the ring onto her finger before pulling her into a warm embrace. Lily turned just in time to see them. She ran toward them as fast as her little legs could carry her. Does this mean... She looked from Naomi to Hyun. I finally get to call you Dad? Hyun's eyes filled with tears for the first time since he was a boy. If you want to. Lily threw her arms around him. I've wanted to for a long time. As the three embraced beneath the golden afternoon sun, Hyun realized that the greatest victory of his life had never been building an empire. It had been building a family. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another unforgettable story. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What would you have done if you were in Hyun's position? Your comments help our community grow, and we'd love to hear your perspective. Until next time, remember that true strength is not measured by how many people fear you, but by how many people feel safe because you chose to stand beside them.